sounds like a back to basics for you guys? Does it feel like that?
Yeah, there's nods to the past in a very contemporary sound. We obviously didn't try to recreate Slippery again, but we would always strive to cap what Slippery was, and in a very contemporary way, I think we achieved that this year.
Well, what happens when the band regroups for a record like this at this time? Do you have to talk about sounds? Do you have to talk about feeling, or stuff just happens and...
It's a combination of both. I mean, I think you put John and I in a room together, and stylistically, we found our voice. I mean, the Slippery and Wet was a record where I think this band really found its voice in contemporary music at that particular point in time, you know, and obviously we've evolved that a lot. But when stylistically we get in a room together, we have a very good knowledge of each other. We always like to joke with each other that we almost don't have to say words to each other anymore, you know, so it's a good communication.
That's been what's made the relationship work all these years, I guess.
Each other and what each other brings to the party, and then being excited by technology instead of pushing it away, and that was the contribution that our co-producer Luke Evan brought to the party. You know, he's a young guy, and a lot of these young guys are making records, really good records, on little computers now, you know, or bringing technology into their bedrooms because they don't have access to big studios, or developing careers in nightclubs for a lot of years. So what he brought was technology, and we showed him the organics of it and created the next step.
The word technology might scare people, though. I'm just thinking to a Bon Jovi fan and wondering, Bon Jovi 2000, it's not real with loops, it's not real with samples, though.
No, there's no samples on it.
No.
No, it's a rock and roll record. I think that the talking that we did do before this record is we wanted to make a positive rock and roll album, something that people were going to enjoy to listen to and make them feel good, and also, you know, kind of nod to the live thing, you know, because essentially we're also a very, very good and very well-studied live act from all the touring that we've done in the past 18 years.
When you were in England doing the Leading Man just before Destination Anywhere, a lot of the sounds you were hearing filtered their way into that
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
There's going to be some Bon Jovi fans out there waiting for some new product, maybe not hearing the first single yet, but wondering, is it going to be from where that album left off from?
No, I think the great thing about our solo projects is we use those as a completely clear palette, a place to experiment, to call it art, you know, to express yourself in different ways. But in that album, I wanted to go as far left technically as I knew how to. So Dave Stewart or Steve Laroni as producers showed me samples, loops, kind of thing, you know, and then the songs I had written were written for the theater, not the stadium. So you bring that and you take it all, but you take a piece of that and you bring it back to the fold. You say, yeah, this worked really good when I learned it from these guys, you know, and that's about the extent of what you bring back to the band. But you do have that knowledge and those experiences.
But why 5 years? Did it just feel this was the moment?
No, it wasn't that we were sitting around doing nothing, you know. Technically it's 5 years since these days. But we toured for a year plus after that, and so in the fall of '96 when that tour stopped, and we had a vacation together, all of us had decided, okay, it's time to do this solo projects again, simply because we artistically wanted to say other things and didn't have enough to say as a band. It was time to walk away for a minute. But with the scheduling of the two solo albums, and then both the sale of our company, which we knew better than to put a record out until the dust settled there, and the untimely death of Bruce Fairburn, who was going to produce the record, it was another setback that, you know, unbeknownst to us, was going to make this a 5-year wait between records.
What was going through your mind during all that? You knew there would be one eventually.
Well, yeah, you know, we were ready to go. We wrote 60 songs for this record. You know, the writing process was 2 years of that 5. You know, so it wasn't like there was ever a period of us sitting around, or that these 12 songs on this record are the only 12 songs. 60 songs takes 2 years to write. And that took a lot of our attention, a lot of time. Plus I did, what, 6 movies in those 5 years. So, I've been very busy in films. But, Bruce, the idea that we were going to have a record done by Bruce and Bob Rock, who was going to agree to co-produce this record, at least, that's the way we were leaning. We were looking to have so much fun was the attitude going in the studio. The idea of, old friends, let's do it for fun. These guys certainly don't need to co-produce a record together, but they were on the same page about doing it. It just didn't work out, I mean, we were shell-shocked at the untimely death of Bruce. It set us back.
Does it worry you, the state of music now? Do you ever think about that stuff? I've talked with certain artists about this, and everyone agrees at this point in time, rock is dead.
Oh, I don't agree with that today. A couple years ago, I would have been worried a little bit more. But today, with the Goo Goo Dolls and Third Eye Blind and Lit, and there's a return to choruses and
good songwriting.
rock bands. And in our situation, had we become rappers or had a guy scratching up there, I think that you or us would have sat there and went, time out, this don't work. We're a brand name at this point, I mean, since '83 when we started recording the first record, this is the year 2000 now, and we couldn't change like that. Because in '83 we'd have been Culture Club and Cyndi Lauper, and in 2000 we'd be Limp Bizkit, Korn, or we'd have to learn to dance like the Backstreet Boys. And you ain't gonna see us dancing,
With the chairs. You're already sitting in the chair.
See either one of those two things happening. We just had to stay true to who we were.
Well, even around 93 or 92 when Keep the Faith was around, that was a turning point in a lot of ways, I think, for the band. A couple of reasons. You proved, despite the climate of the charts at that time, that album was hugely successful.
Yeah.
Secondly, it was an introduction to more idealism introduced in the songwriting. Do you look at that as a landmark album for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was getting through that whole grunge period, of course, was a major league step for us. And also...
And a lot of eyes were on you to see what was happening.
Yeah, also, too, I think that there was all those rumors at that time that the band was breaking up. We had been totally kind of like just crispy from doing 2 16-and-a-half-month tours back-to-back from Slippery, New Jersey in the late 80s, and then we took that break and did the solo records, and we came back to a climate, as you were saying, of, the grunge period was entered, and there wasn't any bands that were surviving of our genre, and, we also were growing up, and we needed to do stuff, to write different kind of music and different kind of material. So there was a lot of different levels of breakthrough with that particular record. We also started managing ourselves at that point in time. So there was a lot of stuff that we were actually breaking through.